Every major medical association agrees, like, this is bad. Chiles v. Salazar is a case about whether Colorado's law banning harmful conversion practices for LGBTQ+ youth violates the free speech clause of the First Amendment. The plaintiff in this case, Kalli Chiles, is a licensed counselor in Colorado who wants to provide conversion therapy. Conversion therapy is a harmful and unscientific practice intended to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity, which isn't something you can actually do. Not only is the practice ineffective in its stated goals, but it's also actively harmful to youth who studies show are more at risk of anxiety, depression, and even suicidal ideation. 23 states and the District of Columbia have outlawed conversion therapy for youth because it falls below the standards of care. A lot of these laws are just about how licensed counselors are supposed to practice medicine. Kalli Chiles is represented in this case by Alliance Defending Freedom, the far-right legal organization that brought cases like Dobbs, which overturned Roe v. Wade and eliminated the federal right to abortion, and other cases like Masterpiece Cake Shop, where the Supreme Court recognized a free speech right to discriminate in the provision of expressive services. Alliance Defending Freedom brings a lot of these cases around the country, seeking to undermine LGBTQI+ rights and reproductive rights and enforce a Christian nationalist worldview on the country. The plaintiff in this case argues that because she only wants to do talk therapy and not things like electric shocks or inducing nausea to change somebody's sexual orientation or gender identity, that talk therapy is speech that's fully protected by the First Amendment. But that flies in the face of a state's ability to regulate its licensed medical providers to make sure they're following the standards of care and not harming their patients. If the Supreme Court holds that Colorado's law banning conversion therapy for youth violates the First Amendment, that ruling will ripple out to the 23 other states in the District of Columbia that also have bans on conversion therapy for youth, which means more LGBTQ+ youth around the country will be harmed. If ADF wins, it won't stop here. It's going to keep citing this case and other cases like it to keep eroding LGBTQI+ and reproductive rights across the country. When every major medical association agrees that a practice is harmful to children, states should be able to prevent licensed therapists from engaging in that practice. That's just common sense. Check out the People's Guide to the Supreme Court to learn more about this case and others and what's at stake this term. Information is power.